Hey, Maik Wiedenbach here. This is the module for food density, palatability, and variety. I know that sounds very dry, but it's actually interesting. So, why do people fail? It's usually because when they start a diet, they are way too strict and they go very, very bland. So, I'm going to try to hopefully shed some light on this. So, foods basically, they can be hyper-palatable, which is all our favorites: ice cream, pizza, French fries, donuts. They have a unique combination of sugar, fat, and salt, which is exactly what used to be scarce in ancient times. And basically, our brain goes nuts when it gets that signal, and it signals to eat more and more and more of that, not knowing that the supermarket over there is stocked with Haagen-Dazs, and I can get another Haagen-Dazs every 5 minutes if I want to. This isn't the last one. So then, before you know it, you have damaged 1,500 calories, right? So these foods, if you are not that great with food control, for the time being is best to leave out, right? Because they cause an almost hedonistic response where people literally can't stop eating them. By the same token, that doesn't mean never eat anything sweet, because a kiwi or an apple can be very sweet and they bring like between 80 and 100 calories, and nobody has ever eaten 10 apples in one sitting, or maybe somebody has, but it sounds very unlikely, right? So if you choose foods of lesser caloric density, complex carbs like potatoes, rice, a whole grain pasta, fruit, vegetables, leaner cuts of protein, such as the white proteins like chicken, turkey, lean beef, flank steak, has been marinated, by the way. Flank steak cannot be eaten by itself, but that's a different story. You need to marinate it. Then your odds of overeating automatically dropped dramatically, right? Because it is just very difficult to eat a boatload of flank steak and baked potatoes, right? And you can use all the sauces, all the condiments you want. That has no impact on calories whatsoever, so don't you worry about that. So foods that are not that dense in calories but deliver a good nutritional profile, obviously your go-to, and that's what we have in the list. And then there's always the question, how much should I vary my foods? And the answer is it depends. So on the one hand, people really do best if they eat almost the same thing all the time. That sounds dreary, I know that. But I think to be successful, you should create 3 to 4 go-to meals that are easy to prepare. Like when I diet, one of my favorites is lean ground beef and rice. I can eat that very quickly with hot sauce, even at work. Can shovel it in. It has a good profile. It's hard to overeat. So there's one thing. Then I do marinated chicken on shiitake mushrooms for dinner, which has no carbohydrates. And I can also make a lot, and it tastes actually reasonably good. So if you create along those lines, maybe 2 meals with carbohydrates and 2 with lean protein and without, and make that the mainstay of your weeks, you will probably do better. It is true that at some point people might get a little bit more out of their foods when they vary them. The downside is that then very often the measurement goes haywire, and whatever little benefit there was is being lost and extra calories taken in. So that doesn't mean you have to jump on the chicken, rice, and broccoli bro bandwagon. That's, of course, an extreme example of, I don't know why, it's almost a cult. But I would try to create, like I said, 3 to 4 meals that are to your liking, that you can cook easily, store easily, eat at work. Then your odds of success will just be so much greater. So the more you try to wing it by ordering in healthy foods and all that kind of thing, you're more likely to fail, because you always got to remember, meal prep services, restaurants, whatever, they're not in the business of making you jacked. They are in the business of selling your food, which is fine. That's their business model. But to sell food, you have to make it taste good. And if you ever try to cook with 10 grams of fat a portion, best of luck making it tasty. It's just not there, right? So even if you order in salads, you just don't quite know. And you can be off by, let's say, 200 calories a meal times 7 meals that you ordered for the week, that's already close to 1500, right? So stay away from the hyper-palatable foods, at least in the beginning. Find foods that have a good nutrition profile, are not that dense in calories, and then from there on create 3 to 4 meals that you like, and so on and so forth. If you would like another video about a couple meal ideas, let us know in the comments. I am happy to oblige, okay? Maik out.